welcome to the Design Make Play Show. I'm your host, Zachary Anderson. For those of you tuning in for the very first time, here on Design Make Play, we seek to engage makers through challenges and discussion, to highlight maker projects, and of course, to learn about the STEAM-based curriculum, that's science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. If you like anything that you see here today, make sure to check us out at zenmakerlab.com, where we offer a variety of programs and summer camps. And in those summer camps, we get to build some really cool project kits, and you can find those same project kits available on our shop. So if you go to shop.zenmakerlab.com, you can find a couple of our project kits there. And while you're there, you might as well pick yourself up a nice piece of PPE. So we've been selling a variety of face shields at the shop, so you can go there. There's different versions. This one's the Air, but we've also got the Pro, and we've got kids face shields as well. So you can go there and purchase those for your own needs. Now, we're trying to make this live stream as interactive as possible, and so we'll be posting our challenges and questions, of course, to Twitter and Instagram during the live stream. And if you're quick to answer some of our responses, maybe I'll give you a little shout out or something here on the stream. So that covers most of what I wanted to talk about this morning, and of course, it's our summer giveaway. So we're very excited to again announce our summer giveaway that we are having for this whole summer. So let's go ahead and play the clip. Let's go ahead and take a look at our very first project here, which is Clancy's boat. Set sail for Impress. And this one is Jackson's R2-D2. Now this cannon was made by Oscar Hudson's Deluminator. Next up, we've got Daniel's Dice. Check out Oscar's Lantern. Here, let's play some Keaton's Crossy Creek. Yeah, so we are running our summer giveaway. So if you would like to enter yourself into our summer giveaway competition for some of those cool prizes from the Canucks, maybe some from us, you can go ahead and you can submit one of your maker projects to us via Twitter, Instagram, or email. Okay, so you can go to the zenmakerlab.com. You can find our email there, and you can submit your project there, or of course, Twitter or Instagram, you just tweet it at us, #DesignMakePlay, and if we like it, maybe we'll throw it into our Maker Highlight segment, where you'll know that it's been entered into the contest to win some very cool prizes. So that covers everything for this morning. Let's go ahead now and jump into our segments for the day.
Hello and welcome to another segment of Design Make Play Show. My name is Aryan, I'm the designer at Zenmaker Lab, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to use two-point perspective in your drawings. Have your pencil and paper ready? Let's get started. Last week we talked about how to create one-point perspective. As you guys did, we created a road with street lights, with the road lines, with all the stuff that we did, that things getting closer to us, getting bigger, and the stuff getting further to us, getting smaller. It was one way of looking at things. Today, we're gonna do two-point perspective. In two-point perspective, we use 2 points. And also, we have different approach of looking at stuff. We're looking at stuff more in the corner. So now, in two-point perspective, as the name is obvious, we're using 2 points. Let's put 2 points in on paper. So we're gonna draw lines coming out of my 2 points, like 1 point perspective. I'm gonna draw the lines coming out like this. There we go, one. Just gonna try to create a straight line. As I said before, you guys always can use rulers. It's easier, it's more handy, and it's really perfect for creating perspective. There we go. Created two lines, one line in here, like mine, created, and there we go. If you pay attention and take a look at stuff, take a look at the thing that you drew, you can see that when I'm seeing the middle, this thing looks like a surface to me, a 3D surface. I'm gonna just color this thing to make sure you guys see that too. So when I have this surface, it means that I'm doing my right thing. So next thing I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna draw lines coming out of each corners. So have a point in here, draw a line going up, straight lines going up, because we wanna just create a really simple building. There we go, it's going up. Again, I'm just gonna draw like that. Draw another one, draw this one. There we go. Next thing I'm gonna do, like 1 point perspective again, I'm just gonna draw line crossing these lines that I just drew from these crossing points. So I'm just gonna draw this line. There we go, 1 and 2. If you pay attention, you can see we have that cube that I showed you guys in the segment. So you guys can see I create a corner view of the cube. So I'm seeing the corner of my cube. There we go. Remember, this is always a guide for you guys to create more stuff. So I'm just gonna erase the extras and try to continue on my drawing. Hopefully you guys get this until this point so that you can continue on with me. And then what you can do next, you can just, again, if you want to add details, imagine this is a building. If you want to add details, I need a guide as always. So I'm just going to draw lines coming out like this way. Again, coming the other way. There we go, and there we go. If I want to put windows, I'm going to follow the rule of 2 point perspective. So now the proportion is going to be really precise. Things getting a bit bigger when they're getting closer to the corner, right? Then I'm going to draw another one, the windows. These are just the details you can add afterwards. I'm just gonna draw another line going this way. Another line going this way again. There we go. I'm just gonna create the road now. Same idea with 1 point perspective. Just have to. This is the road. Again, I'm gonna erase the extras so that we can have the main drawing for here. Again, erase the extras. As you guys can see, I'm using my guide to create more stuff to it. Even I can create another building sitting next to this building, right? Just can create that using 2 point perspective. There we go. You can draw another line, have a door for the building. So like this, like that. There's a door in here. You can go more complicated and put some other stuff too. Another door in here. So I think you guys know why we're using perspective, so that the the proportions are right. The point of using perspective is always getting the proportions right. This is the door. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this segment. This building is Falling Water, done by an American architect called Frank Lloyd Wright. Architects usually use perspective to create these amazing designs. I can't wait to see your designs in near future. My name is Aryan, I'm the designer at Zenmaker Lab. Have a good day and take care.
ENAC was the world's first fully electronic computer, and it was put together by some of the greatest minds in history, John Macaulay and one of my favorite mathematicians, John von Neumann. Now, this old computer used to take up an entire room, and it took great minds to program. But today, we no longer need computers the size of a room. We can do the same computations on something as small as this. I'm Zachary Anderson, and today we're going to be learning about microcontrollers. So, what is a microcontroller? Well, maybe a good analogy is to start with a computer. So on your computer, you can run a variety of programs. You can have a YouTube video playing while you're playing some sort of video game, and maybe you've also got, Word open because you're working on a homework assignment. Hopefully you're not multitasking like this. But these are all processes that require some computations. And each one is a separate task. A microcontroller is like a dumbed down computer that's able to perform a single one of these tasks. And maybe not at the same performance level, but at a simple enough level. And so they're great for applications in logging, moving actuators, and more. Now, microcontrollers are not just a full PCB like this. So when I say PCB, you can see that this is a fairly large chip, and there's some prongs at the end and a socket here. So the microcontroller is this little black chip right here. So this is the actual, basically, computer that's performing a list of actions in a sequence, right? So we can program these microcontrollers to do a variety of things. Now they're great for performing, if you want to do some mathematical computations, that's okay. But they're better used for purposes where you want to automate things at a distance and probably using some sort of sensor, right? If we wanted to just solve some sort of math problem, we could probably just use our computers. It would do a better job and be a lot faster. But if you want to log data, or you want to, say, control the blinds in your room for some smart home automation, a microcontroller is probably the way to go. It's cheap, it's simple, and it's really good at doing that one single task. So what I'm going to show you guys next is how we can actually control this little microchip to perform a couple different tasks. So next, let's take our phalanges to the keyboard and do some programming. So you can take a look here. We're going to be writing some code for this microcontroller. So I'm going to start with pin mode, and we're going to select our digital pin, and we plugged our LED into pin 2, as you guys saw. We want to set that to be an output. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to type digital write, and we're going to set pin 2 to be high. And then we're going to delay 100 milliseconds. And then digital write, pin 2 low, and then delay again 100 milliseconds. Okay. And we can go ahead, we can save that. And then in our tools here, we want to make sure that we've set everything up correctly. So our board is an Arduino Nano. The processor is an ATmega 328P old bootloader, so there's different bootloader types. And the port that we're connected to is COM port 8. So that all looks to be correct. So why don't we go ahead? So we're gonna see what happens when I click upload now. So are you guys ready? Here we go, let's do it. So I'm clicking upload. Oh, and again, I make this mistake. Oh my gosh. Don't forget semicolons at the end of all your statements. Arduino is actually written in C++, and so we have to meet that same syntax. So let's go ahead, let's click upload one more time. There we go. So we're probably gonna see a couple of flashing lights on the board that shows that it's programming, and now we should have a blinking LED, which is pretty cool, right? So we got our blinking LED. This is awesome. That's always what I ask people when they're working on a project. What's your blinking LED? Blinking LED means you can go home, right? Yeah, so we got our LED to blink. That's great. Now we know about microcontrollers. We know that they're sort of like a computer, that they can do a single task. And we learned how to actually program our microcontroller to just make an LED blink. And this is an example of what microcontrollers are really good for. Microcontrollers are really good for automating these simple tasks. If you wanted to log data or say run some sort of simple automation. Thank you guys for checking out this Make segment. Remember to check out our ZenMaker Academy online, particularly the electronics course. In that program, you actually get to use some of the same microcontrollers in your projects. And so it's a lot of fun, and I really, really enjoy it. I hope to see you guys next time. I'm Zach.
All right, it's Coach Greg here in the play space at ZenMaker Lab. We're at the Design Make Play show, and we're following up with Coach Jammer on our fundamental movement skills as it relates to soccer. And we've had a lot of fun learning some skills in soccer. Today, what are we working on, Coach?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a great session. Big part of the game is passing, learning how to use our teammates on the field. So Greg and I are gonna do some drills to show you how we can use each other when we're on the field. Okay, so looking forward to it, Greg.
Great.
All right, Greg, so we're gonna learn how to do the proper passing technique, okay? Kids, this is very important. If you listen well here, you're going to really be grateful down the road, okay? So the most used passing technique on the field is called the push pass. Pushing the ball, okay? So what I want you to do is very simply, you're gonna put your non-passing foot beside the ball, and then you're going to turn your foot and point your toes outwards, and basically you're just gonna push the ball, okay? So let's practice that. All I want you to do is just receive my pass, okay? So push and then put your foot down.
Okay.
That's all I want you to do, okay? Go ahead.
All right.
It's your turn. Push, excellent, and put your foot down. Very good.
Okay.
Very important, kids,
Yeah.
okay? You're gonna get this a lot, so it's a bad habit to start. So try and catch it, okay?
Put that foot home again, right?
So put that foot back home. So instead of once the ball leaves your foot, a lot of players put their foot down, okay? You're now stuck, you can't move, okay? So it's important to reset, okay? So watch again, you're gonna push and then reset.
Okay.
Go ahead, try that. Oh, you put your foot down.
Okay.
Okay, so let me see you pull it back. Okay,
Okay.
so watch me again. Push back
Okay.
behind you.
Excellent.
Okay, your turn. Oh, yeah, almost.
Okay, I
Almost
see.
got it,
I
okay?
see. Yeah.
And also, kids, it's very important to if you want to become a well-rounded soccer player, you should be able to pass no problem with both feet. Okay, whatever comes at you. So that was my right foot. Now I'm going to use my left foot. So non-passing foot beside the ball. You're going to turn your foot outwards and push and down. So try that. And back down. Well done. Excellent. Saw that, kids? Very good, Greg. Okay, so once we got the actual skill and you now understand, we can practice it now. So you're going to stay on your toes and you're going to pass the ball and back down. Pass the ball back down. Left foot, back down. Very good. Very good. Okay, excellent. So we're gonna try and do 10.
Okay.
So 5 each.
All right.
Okay, on your marks, get set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Finished. Finished. Very good.
All his passes are like amazing delivery. You're setting me up for really good action. So
Yes. Yeah.
appreciate that, Coach.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And just to make you think a little bit more, what I want you to understand now in this part is the message is in the pass. Okay. And what I mean by that, Greg, is let's say this cone is a big, burly defender behind you. Okay. So do you want to stand just
Sure, yeah.
and face? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, a little bit sideways. So that defender is on Greg's left side, yes? So me, being a great teammate, I'm not gonna give Greg what we call a hospital pass. If I give him the ball to that side, that defender is going to just have a field day. Oh, come through, Greg's gonna be mad, hopefully he won't be injured. So me being a very good, smart soccer player, and I've been coached well, is I'm going to pass the ball. Message is in the pass, so watch. So I go to that side of him. So now Greg knows that that message, that pass that I gave him, that there's most likely a defender on his left side. Do you understand that,
I
Greg?
see that, yeah.
So that is important.
Yeah.
Okay? So message is in the pass.
That's great.
Okay, so let's see if Greg understood what I said. So I'm passing the ball. There's the defender. Okay, and where are you gonna pass me the ball? Yes! Very good. Well done, Greg.
Okay.
Okay, so these are passing lanes. So passing lane there, passing lane here, passing lane here. We are on the outside, okay?
Okay.
And we are going to now use different surfaces on our feet.
Okay.
So not necessarily
Sometimes
the
the
push
back
pass.
of the foot.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, let's see how creative you can be.
Okay.
Okay? So on the outside, I'm gonna break and I'm gonna pass it to you and I'm gonna run. And then maybe I'll dribble it a little bit. Maybe I'll do a little ding shot there. Yeah, maybe you'll do it there. Maybe I'll come here and maybe I'll do a little reverse shot there. And then, yeah, excellent. And then maybe I'll come here, be creative. Oh yeah, nice. Excellent work. Oh yes, I love it. And boom, little flick pass, okay? Let's stop there for a sec. So let's just review. So when you have time on the field, so no defenders are around you kids, you would look to make, Greg, can you go just stand there? Perfect. You would look to make the push pass, okay? That's gonna get you 100% guarantee that it's gonna get to your target. But sometimes the other team is gonna be coming down on you very quickly. You're not gonna have time. So you might have to do a little
Yeah.
dink pass.
Sure.
Is that what they, in hockey, there's a similar word?
That's a chip pass, yeah.
Yeah, so you're coming here, oh my gosh, defender's coming in, and a little dink pass. So that's why this drill is good. It shows you creativity, it helps you get rid of the ball quickly, and, oh yes, nice, oh, lovely, well done, good, and here, good, excellent, excellent, very good. Got that?
Okay, yeah, that's fun. I like the
So that one,
movement and cycling around the cones,
exactly.
using different parts of your feet,
Yeah,
challenging your brain to keep up with the movement
yeah,
and to make the right decision.
exactly. Yeah. Right here is the defender. So you're going to make a wall pass with me.
Okay,
So on this side of the cones,
I see.
you're going to
Yeah.
pass me the
So there's a
ball.
wall there.
You're going to run through. Go ahead, run through. And then I'm going to pass the ball back.
Okay.
So on the way back, so one touch. Boom, boom.
Okay.
Wall pass. So you're gonna pass, and then I'm gonna. So remember the message in the pass. So you want yes, that's it. But run through the gate.
Go through the gate.
Yes.
I can run through the wall.
Yeah, you can run through the ball there, and then I pass it. Give and go. This is called the give and go. What's it called?
Give and go.
Give and go. Good. And exactly. So the player with the ball, let's just review that. You're telling me, Jammer, like give and go. So I know that you want the ball back.
Okay.
Try it again. Go ahead.
Okay.
Give and go. Say it.
Go.
Yeah.
Go.
Good. Ball pass.
Go.
Good. Oh, sorry. That's okay. One more. Good. Excellent. Well done. Okay? You got that one?
Like it. All right, that was a lot of fun learning about passing drills and having that, that short class on the fundamentals of passing. I loved your drills and I learned a lot.
Oh yeah, no, it was great. Again, very important to learn how to use your teammates on the field. So keep working on those drills, kids, and it'll make you a better passer at the end of the day. Tomorrow we're going to be working on having you guys do small games and also some challenges. So we're going to include all what we've covered so far, the dribbling and the passing. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think I am having such a blast learning all about soccer and some of the fundamentals. I'm thinking in the future we're going to be offering more in-depth programming so that we can take these little micro sessions that we're offering right now and offer more in-depth training. How's that sound, Coach? We can do some more elaborate training with the teams and players?
Absolutely, yeah. Lots of drills out there that we can package together and make it really fun as well. That's important.
All right, so we look forward to the next time and we'll see you tomorrow.
Hello and welcome back. So we just watched those fantastic 3 design, make, play questions, and now it's time, or segments, design, make, play segments, and now it's time for the questions. So let's go ahead, let's jump right into them. So first off, we have our first question regarding design. And our question for design is, what was the name of the building Arjen introduced at the end of the segment called? So what was the name of the building that Arjen introduced at the end of the segment called? Okay. Next up, we have our make question, and our make question is, what's the name of the world's first fully electronic computer? What is the name of the world's first fully electronic computer? And finally, for the play segment, what was the key takeaway? What was the key takeaway from that segment? So those are your 3 questions. You can go ahead over to Twitter, over to Instagram, and we'll have them posted very shortly. But you can go ahead and you can message your answers to those 3 questions. And if you get them right, give you a little shout out, maybe send you a 3D printed prize. But those are our questions for today's segments. So that covers the first half of our show. Next up, don't go away because we've got an engineering tribute, some maker highlights, and a fantastic interview. So very excited, and I'll see you in 30 seconds. Hello and welcome back. You can see I've done up 1 extra button. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into our segment for today. We have our engineering tribute. So this is a segment of the show where we give a little highlight, give a tribute to somebody that has done something towards research or society to make us better as a whole. And today we are giving a tribute to John von Neumann, who is one of my favorite mathematicians. So, who was he? What did he do? Let's go ahead and take a look a little bit about John von Neumann, at who he was and what things that he did. Okay, so first things first, John von Neumann was a Hungarian mathematician who had applied to a variety of different fields, okay? So he worked on ergodic, oh my gosh, I am so sorry, ergodic theory, which is a theory of dynamic systems of invariant measure. Very interesting, very cool. You can go ahead, you can look that up, see if we can figure out what it is. Measure theory, so being able to measure things correctly. Continuous geometry. Game theory, so game theory, right? So game theory is kind of interesting. It's all about how to win at a specific, at different games, right? So there are some games where both people win. There's a game that's called like a zero sum, where if one person wins, the other person loses. And so there's actually a whole field based around games, right? And how to design games. And actually game theory is used for some of the games that you see on your Nintendo or your PlayStation 5 or 4. It's also often used in business. Game theory can apply to a lot of competitive fields. And so that was a very foundational new theory that was actually worked on by John von Neumann. So yeah, he's worked and founded a variety of fields. And in particular, these are fields that he actually came up with. So these did not exist before John von Neumann. He was actually one of the founding people in these new theories and these new fields. So very cool. Even if we haven't heard of all of them, you know, we're just getting a taste of some of them that he actually founded. And you can go ahead and you can look up any of those theories and find out a little bit about them. So, what were some of the more important things that we see regularly throughout the day? So one thing that was really important was the merge sort algorithm. So this was actually an algorithm that was created by John von Neumann when he was working on the world's first electronic computer. So he was actually working on the design for ENIAC, which is the world's first fully electronic computer. And this is one of the algorithms that he had come up with. So ENIAC was this fully electronic computer that actually merged not just computing, but also the memory all into one device. And what was interesting about this computer was that it could actually modify its own memory. So computers before then couldn't always do that. So that was one significant contribution, was the combining of memory and computation so that the computer could actually manipulate its own memory. Another way to say it is like when you write a computer program, right, to run on your computer, right, you're adjusting, you're changing your own memory, and then you're writing a program that you've written on the same device, right? So that's a rough example. But yeah, so this is the merge sort algorithm, and we can see there's a little GIF here that's actually showing us how this works, right? So we're sorting things into the color spectrum here, right? So bright colors, warm colors on the left, and cold colors on the right. And what it's doing is it's basically going between these two piles, okay? And each pile is sorted, and what it will do is it will just say, is the next element in this colder than the next element in the other one? And if it is, then it's going to put that one second and do the warmer one first, right? So that's what's happening here. So every two, it's just figuring out which is warmer, and then it'll put that one on the correct side. So very cool. So a little bit more about John von Neumann. Who was he? What were some of the things that he liked to do? So John von Neumann loved music. He liked to listen to his gramophone, which is before we had a whole lot of electronic things. There used to be like these big discs, or like even these little like spindle things that had all these little knobs and grooves that people used to use to listen to music. So it was actually encoded on a physical disc, and so he had one of those, and he liked to play music. He liked music, and he also loved to memorize things. He often just took joy in memorizing random facts and figures. And yeah, so those are just a few things about John von Neumann and who he was. So that covers our engineering tribute. So next up, let's shift into our maker highlights. Our maker highlights for the day, and this is one of my favorite segments of the show. So in our Maker Highlight segment, we highlight projects that have been done by students here in ZMA, or maker projects that have been submitted to us via Twitter, Instagram, or email. So today we are highlighting Oscar and Hudson's project. So Oscar and Hudson are two students at ZMA who have made some really cool projects, and so we wanted to highlight their projects today. Now remember, this is part of our summer giveaway, so if you would like to have your projects entered to win some very cool prizes, make sure to send a picture and maybe a small description of the project that you have been working on at home, and you can tweet that at us, you can email that at us for your chance or to be entered possibly into the summer giveaway. Now, to fully be entered, we have to post you on the Maker Highlights segment. So any of the projects that you see here have already been entered to win this giveaway. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at some of the projects that they've done. So first off, we have Hudson's Deluminator. So this is a really cool project, and it's based on some Harry Potter stuff. Yeah. So if you know the Deluminator, that is, I think it's something that was in Harry Potter, and this was actually designed for this student's Halloween costume. So he was actually putting together this prop for his Halloween costume. And I like that because it showed that he was planning ahead, which I always like to see in students, right? They know that some event is coming up and they're planning for it today, which is very cool, right? It shows that we can predict things. And he was working on this Deluminator project, and we both, we worked on some circuits, we did some 3D modeling and 3D design, and then we put it together and built the final prototype. And so that was really cool to work on and really cool to see. And we can see there's the picture of the 3D model there. And then we've actually got a picture of the 3D printed object, and we can see there's a little switch on the side, so that's to turn it on and off. And it up at the top there by the little, it looks kind of weird. It looks like I don't know how you describe that. Maybe it kind of looks like a bug with some whiskers. So but up at the very top, there's actually a little LED that's poking out at the top, and then at the bottom there's the battery. Okay. So this is a fundamental circuit. We've got a load, a source, and a loop, and we've got that little switch that we can use to control the power. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at this actual model. Now, Hudson had built this circuit first, and we learned a little bit about circuits, and then we actually soldered it together and we put it inside of this 3D model. Now, for those of you who don't know Harry Potter, the Deluminator is actually supposed to absorb light. So that's how it works. So it's actually absorbing, that's not how this one works, but that's how they're supposed to work. So they're actually absorbing light out of the air or out of the surrounding area. It's called a Deluminator, right? Because it's absorbing the light. So here we go. We can see now on my screen, we've got a Deluminator here, and we can see there's a variety of parts. Okay, so let's take a quick look at some of the parts that are here. So first off, we can see that there's that hole there for the switch on the side. And we've got this piece here at the top, right? So this is where the LED was poking out. If we look down the top, we can see that it's actually hollow. And that's really important for feeding all those wires through, okay? And these are things that Hudson actually thought about, right? At the bottom, we can see that there's a big hole here, and that's where the battery is going to go. And this is actually a little cover to put over the battery so that you can't even see it. So that was really cool. And then what you'll also notice are there are these little cup things here. And these actually get printed separately. So another thing that I thought was really, really cool about this project was that Hudson actually made his own 3D printed hinges. And I thought this was a fantastic idea. Now they're not interlocked, but they do snap together. So because Hudson wasn't quite sure how this was going to be printed, he actually printed it as two separate parts that he could put together later. And I thought that worked out really, really well. So he could just pop that top piece into the hinge there. So this turned out really good, and yeah, he did a really good job. I really like that mechanism on the side, and we can see here we've got it cut in half, so we can take a little bit of a closer look. And again, we can just see that inside of here it is hollow, right? So it's hollow on the inside, and again, that's to run all our wires through so that we have a good loop. So Hudson put a lot of time and effort into this project, and I think he got some really good results. But remember that the best projects are the projects that you work on for a long period of time and add detail to, right? And so that's what Hudson's done here. So he's added a variety of detail. We've got this piece at the top with this cool little nub, and we've got the hinge on the side. We've got like this cool looking switch thing on the back, and we've got this tap on the bottom and this cool ridge. So there's a lot of little things that go into these projects to make them look really cool and really detailed. So fantastic work, Hudson. Really, really good job. And so we wanted to give you a shout out here on the Design Make Play show. Okay, so that covers Hudson's Illuminator, and next up we have, drum roll, Oscar's lantern. So let's take a look at this lantern. So this is a lantern, and again, this is from Harry Potter. So this is a Harry Potter related Halloween prop, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a look here at the model that was put into this. So again, this was made in our electronics program that we normally run, and in this program, students are designing a 3D model that's going to incorporate some electronics in it and basically designing their own toy. And so this was a piece that was designed by Oscar. Yeah, and Oscar is super young. He's in the lower end of our 8 to 12, and he did a fantastic job on this lantern. So a little bit about how it works. So we can see there's a little gap in the bottom, and that's where the circuit is going to go. That is where we've got a little proto boards that we had, and so we had soldered them up, and Oscar had squeezed that in there. And we can see there's a hole at the bottom, and that's actually for an LED, okay? And the project that we were working on was we were using timers to actually make this LED flash and flicker, and so Oscar had made this to look like a flame. And if we go back, you can see there's actually that little bit of wool in the final lantern there. We can see that there's some wool that's actually made to look like it's like fire, right? Wow, very cool. And the LED would actually blink from underneath and light that up. So it's a very, very cool design. And you can see there's actually some acrylic windows. So we actually laser cut those here. We've got a laser cutter at the lab. And so we were able to laser cut some cool little windows to put on the sides. Yeah, so Oscar did a fantastic job. I mean, look at the amount of detail. And these are all made using just the basic shapes on the right-hand side. We actually put in all this time and effort and made a really detailed lantern. And I think it turned out absolutely fantastic. I mean, look at it. We've got these rivets at the bottom, right? We've got like this caged shape on the sides, right? To make sure that it's safe. There's no flames or oil that's gonna like break out of there. We've got this very cool handle at the top. I think this here is to blow it out, I think. I'm not quite sure what that top piece is for on the lantern. And then we've also got this sliding piece here, this sliding piece on the front, and this little slot on the side is actually for the switch to actually control when it's on and off. So all these things together make Oscar's lantern very cool, right? It's all these little details aesthetically that make it look very vibrant, very interesting. And then it's these other details here that are really important for the actual functionality. What is it supposed to do, right? For example, this hole is there to provide a spot for the LED. This hole is there to provide a slot for the switch. This gap here is to hide all that circuitry, right? So these are all functional aspects of the design, right? Aesthetic aspects are aspects that are more like more there to capture your eye. So for example, these rivets, they don't provide any functional part to the design, right? It's not as if the rivets are going to make the bright any lighter or I don't know, make it flash faster, or it's not like we hold it by the rivet, right? These rivets are more aesthetic, so it's just to give it the idea, the illusion that it's very industrial, right? And so that's the difference between functional design and aesthetic design. Functional design is designed for usage by a person, and aesthetic design are there to capture your eye and draw you into something. And they're both really important, right? Without aesthetic design, a lot of people wouldn't be interested in even approaching an object. And then functional design is really important to actually utilize that object well, okay? And those are both very important considerations that you need to do or take into consideration when you're designing things. So yeah, fantastic job, Oscar, on your lantern. So that covers our tribute and highlight for today. Now don't go anywhere, because next up we have an interview. So we're very excited to have this guest on the show. But I will see you very shortly. So don't go anywhere.
everybody, this is Coach Greg at Zen Maker Lab. We're going to be doing these Unleashing Summer Awesome activities with the staff here. So I'm going to start it off with the floor ball. Here we go. These are things you can do with the shield.
Ever since I got this face shield, I noticed an improvement in my juggling. Stay active, try local.
All right, so that's Unleashing Summer Awesome, the Monkey Bar Challenge. Stay active, try local. Stay active.
Try local.
Here we go, stay active everyone. Stay active, try local.
Early on, we realized that it would inevitably spread to Canada. We had to ask ourselves what we could do to keep our population safe.
My mom is a nurse at Lionsgate Hospital, and her concern is the rapid spread of the virus across the wards, so I decided to create a face shield for her to keep her safe from COVID-19.
And GladZen donated what they could. A lot of hospitals in Canada did not have enough PPE.
At Zen, we're a team of makers with backgrounds in engineering, business, and design. We believe that great ideas are only worth the action taken.
We noticed that these face shields were being made in a way that wasn't environmentally friendly. We thought, wouldn't it be great if we could make one that was recyclable, that was biodegradable, that could protect people, as well as protect the environment.
The power a community has to create health is limitless when we work together.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our show, Design, Make and Play. Today we have an amazing guest. It's Deb Hutchinson Cap. She's Chief Librarian of North Vancouver. Deb, welcome to our show. Deb, I want to know a little bit, like you can just tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you have been doing in the library of North Vancouver. Oh, okay. I have another question for you. How do you make you feel like you want to work as a librarian?
It's funny because you would think maybe it was, I was a library monitor when I was in elementary school. We got to eat our lunch in the library and then help to shelve the books. Mm-hmm. That was just a fun thing to do in school. I never thought about it as a career. And it was only quite a bit later after I'd done a master's degree in English and was having a really hard time deciding on a topic for my PhD thesis. And took a year and ended up working in the library and discovered that it was a really good place for people who are curious I can't quite settle down to any one thing. I just always want to be learning about something new. And so from that experience, I pursued my master's in library science and this career.
Yeah, I found libraries the best space. Like I really miss them right now. Just to go there, have a time, just grab a book, listen or watching movies. I think they're the best places to go. Could you just share with us how is a typical day for you in the library?
Do you want to know about a typical day before COVID or a typical day now?
Now, I think now is kind of interesting to know how it looks like.
And for me or for the library altogether?
I think for like everyone, for you and the team that is around you.
Sure. Well, one thing is, as you can see, I'm not at the library right now. So lots of us are working from home, not all the time. So the library is open again. And so more and more we're on site providing service. But just to make sure that we have the minimum number of people in the library, just for safety, lots of us are working from home. So that was a big change for us. Before this, all of us were on site all the time. So we're learning how to work in new ways. Right now, every day when we're on site, we start the day with a scrum. So we're on reduced hours. So everyone's working the same shift. So we're all there at the same time. So the people who are on site, we can get together and have that little quick check-in with each other. Who's doing what are we seeing? How are things changing? What do we need to know? So very much everyone working together to deliver our core services. It's been really challenging for folks, and adapting to new ways of working and connecting digitally has been a challenge. But at the same time, it's presented us with opportunities to come together as a team. Now that we can open our doors, the best thing is just watching the line kind of build up outside the front door just before opening, and then opening the doors and seeing people come in and just being able to welcome the community back into the space. That's just been outstanding the last couple of weeks.
That was my next question. Like exactly what kind of services are you offering right now?
Right. So on March 16th, we closed our doors and all kind of physical service ended at that point. And we really pivoted quickly to providing digital service. So really focusing on what we could deliver through the website, our digital collections. We started doing digital programming, and we currently have a virtual summer reading club going. We've got virtual book clubs. We've got English language learning classes happening digitally. So we made a ton of changes to kind of shift to that environment. And then we turned our minds to, okay, how do we start building back in some of the physical access? Because we know that the access to books and the audiovisual materials and digital is great for lots of people. Many people made the leap to digital content because of lots of other folks. They really need those books in hand. And we also knew that technology access was critical for people. So we started working through that. We were able to launch a takeout service at the end of April, and that was a wonderful day. We felt like we were like an Amazon fulfillment center. The library was full of paper bags all ready for people to pick up. People are so excited to be connected to materials. So right now, when people come to the library, it's still very focused on those core services. So people can come in, they can just pick things up. So if they hold and they're ready to pick up, or if they called us and said, hey, I've got 2 kids and one's really into dinosaurs and one's really into like rocks and minerals and one's 8 and one's 12. Can you put something together for us? Our librarians will actually go and select materials for people based on what they're interested in, what they've been doing before, and pack it all up and have it ready for them. So some folks are ready to spend time. They just want to come and go. They can do that. Or they can come in and browse. So the children's department is open, and also our whole second floor. So people can come in and select their own materials. Our third floor isn't open yet, but if people have materials that are on the third floor, the staff will bring them down for them. So it's there for them. And then people can also access public computers. So we do have some of our public computers set up, ready to go. And we do have a small number of study carrels where people can come in and use Wi-Fi or charge their devices. So it's mostly come, get your things and go. And the computer and the Wi-Fi access, we're asking people to limit their time to 60 minutes. So trying to keep people circulating.
Okay. And there is a specific amount of people that they can just go inside of the library? So you have like a minimum or maximum?
There is a maximum that we've calculated based on the guidelines that the health authority has given us. It's actually quite a large number, but what we're doing instead is really, and this, you'll see this happening in grocery stores as well, is we kind of know what that number is, but what we tend to do is just pay very close attention to some of our kind of congestion points.
Yes.
And when we see that it's just getting a bit tight, we'll sometimes just pause people at the door until we can kind of work people through some of those congestion points. But we seem to be able to manage the traffic pretty well. It's pretty slow and steady. It comes through. It's starting to build up now that we've been open for a couple of weeks. And word is getting out. But we're not finding that people are having to wait a long time at the door for testing.
And are you having the same schedule, like the open schedule?
It's a reduced schedule compared to what we were doing before we closed. So right now we are open Monday through Saturday. Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, we're open from 10 until 5. And Wednesday and Thursday, we're open from 1 until 8. So we're adding some evening service on those 2 days. That's to kind of get us through. This is just our very initial reopening. We're learning as we go. We're adding services as we go. And then we're going to look to try and add more hours as we go along as well.
Okay, that is fantastic. And I've seen like your social media is super active, really nice pictures, and you have a series where some of the librarians have been just reading books and talking about them. So could you talk a little bit more about that program? I found really interesting.
Yeah, so we've done a number of things in that area. So obviously one of the critical functions of the library is to promote literacy, and one of the audiences we work with most is our very youngest folks, right? So families supporting their babies and their toddlers and their preschoolers in developing their early literacy skills. So we really tried to, those story times have been kind of bread and butter of public libraries for such a long time. And that was one of the first things we tried to shift into a digital medium. And it's been a real learning curve for our children's staff. So they've gone from being in a room with 20 or 40 or 60 children and their family, so excited, crawling around, talking, touching, to trying to connect with people in this digital medium. So it started out as video, and we're working towards doing more live programming so that it can have that immediacy for folks. So we read stories, we do kid plays, we do rhymes, we do songs. So we're just teaching both children and also their families about those early literacy skills. So learning to hear the sounds of language, learning about rhyme, learning about rhythm, all of those literacy skills help them be ready. We've also, we have many library champions in our community, people who work in the city, some of our politicians, folks in other partner organizations. And we've come in and done some story reading videos, just to share their love of reading with other folks.
Really nice. Really, really nice. Do you have for that one a specific schedule?
That's a great question, and I'd have to follow up with you. With the summer, normally our programming changes in the summer because it's our summer reading club, which is a program that runs throughout this summer. And we have a summer reading club, which is kind of geared to kids, but we also have a Read to Me club for those pre-readers who are, in preschool, kindergarten, grade 1 sometimes, where a parent or an older sibling reads to the child. We also have a teen summer reading club. And all of those, this is a different kind of programming. So if you go to the library website at nbcl.ca, there's all kinds of information there about summer reading. And we are doing story times connected to that, but you just check the schedule online. Once we get back into the fall, we'll go back to sort of regular days of the week, regular times, which is kind of what we normally do. So we have this sort of summer shift. Go back.
Okay. I'm kind of running out of time. So, but the last question, what kind of books do you recommend to kids and youth to read?
So that's a great question, and you'd sent it to me in advance, and I said, anything. I think parents sometimes, and I'm a parent, I have an 11-year-old and a 30-year-old. Both of whom are big readers, but I think parents often think that they need to guide their children to quality literature and protect them from junk. And really what I say, especially my older one, it was not necessarily a boring reader, and that it's really just read whatever it is, the back of the cereal box, graphic novels, comic books, Barbie, Lego, whatever, if that's what it takes. And of course, there's also rich, wonderful literature that kids can find their way to when they're ready. My daughter right now, she's 11, she's enjoying a book by an author. I forget his first name all of a sudden. His last name is Bratt, B-R-A-T, said. He writes historical novels for young adults and older around about the Holocaust, the Second World War, human rights, for her to explore some of those ideas and those aspects of history in a way that she can take in at first. The kids, they know what's too adult for them or what they're not ready for. They won't engage with something that they're not ready for. So the critical thing with kids is just encourage them to read whatever they read and then build on it. And then come and talk to the great librarians at the library when you think they're ready to be inspired to try something new, and they can help you kind of shift to something maybe that you haven't thought of.
Okay. Thank you, Deb, very much. We are running out of time. Thank you, everyone, for being here today in Design Make Play. See you tomorrow.